Hey guys, it's LiLi from Don't Feed the Gamers. You guys also know me as Leanna Michelle off of Don't Hate the Geek. I'm their newest figure reviewer over there, having a blast chilling with those guys. I am starting to unpack. A lot of you guys know we just bought our house, Chewy and I, and the downstairs is nothing but replicas and action figures, and it's ridiculous trying to find a place, especially for like my fully scaled replicas, like the 1-for-1 Haler Needler. Trying to find a place for that is quite interesting. Luckily, the entire downstairs is strictly my figure zone, so I got lots of space to work with. But as I'm unpacking, I'm seeing a lot of my tabletop games, a lot of my cards. I found my old dice bag, and it made me just really want to get back in the tabletop. It's been a while. I have yet to successfully implement Chewy into the world of tabletop, which I feel like I'm failing as a wife, but don't you worry, I'm going to keep trying. It is not a failed attempt yet. But that brought me to, as I was also unpacking a lot of PS4 games I have, including the brutal Bloodborne, which if anybody has played it or is at least familiar with like Dark Souls, it's insanely hard and bloody and dark and morbid, and I love it, and I hate that I love it because it's just hours and hours and hours of me getting my ass kicked over and over again. It's also one of those games I have rage quit over. A couple of controllers have been tossed across the room and scared the shit out of our dog, so that was fun. But what brought me to it is I was looking at Bloodborne, and then I was looking over to my box of tabletop games and assorted paraphernalia, and it brought me back to an article I wrote over for Don'tHateTheGeek.com about Eric Lang's new project, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he is pretty well known throughout the tabletop community. He's done so many cool things. He's done a couple of Dungeons and Dragons. He's done a couple of Star Wars games, XCOM, Warhammer. Dude's done everything, and he's done them really well. He's very accredited in that whole genre of nerdiness. So when I heard out that he was actually doing a Bloodborne game, it was pretty cool. I saw it on his Twitter. If you guys want to follow him, he's at Eric_Lang. But he wrote back in March 15th that Bloodborne just got, their tabletop game just officially got licensed. So they got the green light to go ahead and do that. He said it was simple, but highly deep and interactive card game. So it's cool. It's not miniature. It's looks like it's going to be a couple layers of depth with the game, and seeing it's what he's done with previous titles, I'm kind of stoked, especially XCOM, that his adaptation of that was really fun and enjoyable, and it's been years since I've really delved into any of his stuff, so I'm excited for this one. But yeah, he's teaming up with Cool Mini or Not, and they just recently announced that they're going to be doing this, and it's going to be based off of, again, the PS4 exclusive Bloodborne, but it's going to be cool because it's saying that it's not a huge commitment to play this game. It's not like you're going to have to, like if you play Risk or something, that it's going to be this huge hours and hours and hours and hours of game time invested. He's saying that the approximate game with done to completion and done bare minimum lasts about 30 minutes long, so not too bad. It's perfect to play with friends or family or whatever. And he also announced that it's going to be based off of the Chalice Dungeons, which is, if anybody who's played the game, is a brutal area in-game. So it's going to be kind of cool that it is based off of something specific and not just this broad span of environment from the game. So I like that. I was really excited to hear him say that. But he's done, like I said, he's done tons of stuff in the past. He's not a stranger to the tabletop or the tabletop community. Of this time, there is no release date, which I'm kind of sad about, and it makes me a huge stalker because I've just literally been stalking his Twitter feed, looking and waiting for some information on this. It's something I'm really excited about. I know when I was active duty and living in Virginia, the people I was rooming with, we got a house out in Virginia Beach, and we would play like Vampire Masquerade. And I'm from New Orleans, so we love our vampires and not that sparkle shit from Twilight. Not hating if that's your thing. If that's your thing, do your thing and get on with your bad self. But we like either the macabre, grotesque, beautiful, enticing vampires like Lestat from Anne Rice's series, or we just like the brutal, rip your throat out without a second glance type. We not really too much into the stalking 17-year-old girls in their bedroom, just watching them sleep, because that's fun. So yeah, that's what we used to play as far as tabletop. Did the Dungeons and Dragons. Vampire Masquerade I always had a special place in my heart just because of my upbringings, and I'm very, very, very proud to be from New Orleans. But I Dungeons and Dragons, a couple of friends and I a couple years ago made a Mass Effect, not officially licensed, it wasn't us mass producing or anything like that, but we just did a makeshift Mass Effect tabletop game, which was really fun. I would definitely be interested in a Dragon Age Inquisition or a Dragon Age verse tabletop game. I love the world of Thetis, and I think BioWare did really good with that, so I would love to play like a tabletop of that. But I'm super nerdy. Like, I want to get all in. Like, I'm not even joking. I would dress up. If we ever did, if my friends and I ever came up with a Dragon Age Inquisition one, or if anybody decided to release something like that, I legit would show up in full, like, Sarah from Dragon Age Inquisition cosplay. I'm not even scared. Or Hawk, or Fenris, or the Warden. Like, I'm not even ashamed. Like, it's gonna be great. But tabletop has always been awesome for me because it was something that lets you be yourself. It lets you, when you're with a group of people, especially if it's a group of people you trust, it really lets you just explore other worlds without feeling judged. Because when you are doing tabletop, especially with the role-playing, more role-playing genre of that spectrum, there is a vulnerability. I am too chicken shit. I'm totally okay with admitting that I am too chicken shit to go to a card game or go to a store and just start role-playing with a bunch of strangers, because there is a vulnerability into it. You're playing this character, and I don't know if it is for everybody else, but I have huge social anxiety, and I'm like, oh, am I doing it right? Or are they judging me? Am I getting too into it? Do I need to apologize for how into it I am? And it can be a little intimidating, but if you've got a good group of friends and people you trust and you feel just 100% comfortable with, doing those role-playing RPG tabletop type games are just so much fun. You can really lose yourself in the story, and for me, I always get really swept away in character creation. I love just making my characters exactly what I would want to be in that universe of creation, and making decisions, and a lot of it's up to chance, and just seeing where the story takes you, especially if you have a good DM. We've talked about on this page, and got amazing feedback about doing maybe trying on a trial basis, having everybody come together, not everybody because there's 27,000 people, but anybody that's willing and interested, talking about maybe doing an online like Dungeons and Dragons game with some of you guys. I don't know how that's going to work. We've got the schematics, we've got the website already planned out, we've got the schematics of it. I'm just curious how it's going to work with so many people. And time zones, I know a lot of you guys are on the other side of the pond. Obviously, I'm in the United States, I'm in Chicago, but I know that a lot of you guys the time zones are just completely different. So it's going to be something we're going to have to work out. And I'm a night owl. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm definitely a night owl, so I'm okay with maybe doing 2 sessions, doing a Western and an Eastern session, so everybody gets a chance to play. But I thought that might be kind of fun. But just tabletop is just great, and going through all of my stuff, it was really cool to go through my cards. I found a couple of my D&D cards, and it makes me happy, and knowing that there's that. I love the tabletop games that bridge the gap between tabletop and video games. If you make a tabletop that's based off of a video game, especially one that I love, I'm going to flip my shit. And this just made me think about Lang's new game that's coming out, and I was excited. I want to share with you guys. And I also want to hear your guys' feedback. What is a tabletop game that is your comfort zone? What is the tabletop game that you, no matter what other games you try, wherever you are, whoever you meet, that's the game that always kind of feels like home for you? And if you're not into the tabletop, either because it just doesn't seem like an interest to you, or you just haven't had the opportunity to try it yet, if you're not, what would be one that you would like to see? It can be one that's already existing that you'd be interested in trying out, or it could be one that doesn't exist. Shout off your ideas. I want to hear what you guys got. I'm just brainstorming with some of you guys. We've come up with some really cool ideas. That's how the Mass Effect one came about. So I want to hear from you guys. Sound off in the comments and let me know, what would you want to see, or what tabletop feels like home to you? And what does tabletop gaming mean to you? Is it just a casual pastime? Is it something that's solidified your group of friends? I know one friend actually met his wife through a tabletop tournament, and they ended up getting married. He ended up meeting her, and I guess their characters in game really hit it off, and then the people behind the characters hit it off, and they eventually got married. There's some really cool stories like that. So I want to hear from you guys. What does it mean to you? And what is your favorite game? And then if, like I said, if you haven't been into it, haven't given it a chance, or haven't had the opportunity to give it a chance, what's one that you're interested in, whether it exists or not? Tell me what tabletop would really just call your name in an enticing way. And I'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks for chilling out with me. Again, I'm LiLi from Don't Feed the Gamers. Appreciate you guys nerding out with me, and I will keep you in the know. When Ling ever gives an official date, I'm super stoked. You guys will be the first to know, I promise, and I will check you guys later.